Okay, adding and subtracting polynomials. Now, the first thing is identifying them properly. So polynomials are combinations of numbers and variables and exponents. So guys, all of these are polynomials, okay? Now they can be more specific. Let's start with the terms. So if I label this, this is one term. Even though there's two things involved, these two things are multiplying, so it's considered one term. This, however, is not multiplying, they're subtracting. So actually, this is considered two terms. And this one that is adding, this is considered three terms. Okay? So the reason that's important is because depending on the number of terms, they have special names. So, for example, the name of this one for one term, this is called a monomial. One term. Two terms, it's called a binomial. And then this is the one that you're going to deal with the most for this class, is three terms. It's called a trinomial. Okay? But yeah, if you get more than three terms, we just call it a polynomial. So once you get past this, 4, 5, 6 terms, it's just a polynomial. But these are the specific names for these. Another thing that we know is the degrees. Now, when I say degrees, we're talking about the exponents, okay? So here, in this term, what's the biggest exponent? 3. So this, we say this has a degree of 3 because of this. Now, the 5 also has an exponent. If you don't see an exponent, it's a 1. But we don't use it because this one's bigger. So it's a degree of 3. Okay, that one doesn't matter. Here, again, this has an exponent, this has an exponent, this has an exponent. Okay, but we go with the one that's bigger. And over here, we would say has a degree of 1. Okay. Right here, same deal. This is the biggest one. This one also has a power of 1. Now, what's really interesting is this one. There's no x, but if you did put one, that would be a degree of 0. If it's not there, it has a degree of 0. Now, you never see this. You never actually see that, but that's actually there. But that doesn't matter. You always go with the biggest one. So this one. So this has a degree of 2. Now, something that you should also notice about this, the biggest one should go first, then the next size one, and then the smallest one. And it's always based off the exponents. So this is called standard form, when you write the term in order with the biggest exponent all the way to the smallest. Okay, so those are polynomials. Now, let's do a couple problems for polynomials. What if you wanted to add polynomials? Okay, so if we're going to add, you have to combine like terms only. Only the like terms. And what I mean by that is not the numbers, it's the variable and the exponent. So for example, here, this one can only be added with this one. It cannot add it to the power of 3, it cannot add it to the x. So one way we do this is, instead of writing it like this, I rewrite the problem stacked on top of it. So I'll take this number and I'm going to add it to this one. And that takes care of that. Okay? This one, this x, would add up to this one. All right? Now, something important to notice, there is no x to the third power over here. So this one is not going to add. In fact, it's just going to stay 5x to the 3. Okay? But the rest of them, we add up. So this would be 7x squared. Yes, you only add the numbers in front. You match them up. You leave the exponent the same. This one would be 3x. There was nothing to add here, so this just goes exactly the same as a -3. And again, this one, 5x to the 3. Now, if you wrote this, your math is correct, but the answer is still wrong because you need to write it in standard form, which means you need the biggest exponent to go first. So we actually start with this number first, then the next biggest one, then the next one, and finally the 3. And this is the correct answer. If I added up these trinomials, this would be my answer. So 4 terms, yeah. Just because they're both 3 terms doesn't mean you're going to get 3 terms in your answer. You have to match up the like terms, and sometimes you'll end up with more. And sometimes they'll cancel out, you'll end up with less. Okay, so just be very careful. All right, now what about if you're going to subtract? Now this is important. You're taking this term and you're subtracting this term. You're taking this away from A. So when you do that, this is going to be treated like a negative. So I bring that up because you have some positive numbers in here. But since you're subtracting, what I suggest you do is you distribute the sign to each one. Distribute the sign first. So we're going to be subtracting x squared. So you're going to treat it like a minus x squared. You're going to be subtracting x, so treat it like a minus x. And you're going to be subtracting negative 7. But wait a minute. What happens if you subtract a negative? It becomes positive. 2 negative signs together becomes positive. So this is how you're going to treat it. So when you line it up, you're going to line up these numbers with this. So you got 4x squared minus 6x plus 4. Minus x squared will go here. Minus x will go here. And plus 7 will go here. I still like to stack it up. I still like to stack it. And luckily, they all have a matching term. So this one will end up as a trinomial. Now, because you distributed the negative sign, all you do is combine exactly the way they are. Just exactly the way they are. This is now treated as a minus. So 4x squared minus x squared. 3x squared. You're still not going to change the exponents. It's only the numbers. And this is 4x minus 1x. So 4x squared minus 1x squared, 3x squared. Minus 6x minus x. Negative 7x. Yep. When you're subtracting from a negative, it only gets bigger. A bigger negative. Plus 4 plus 7. And here is our answer. Okay. So change the signs and then just combine it. Just combine it once you do that with the like terms, and that's it. And make sure you write it with the biggest term all the way to no term. Okay. It needs to be in order. This is standard form. And that's how your answer should be written, in standard form. Okay? And that's adding and subtracting.